during this Black History Month. We want to tell you about one of the living legends of the civil rights movement, lives right here in the Chicago area still.
Reverend JC Smith had a front row seat to the Montgomery Bus Boycott, and now he's sharing his amazing story. WGN's Micah Mater tells us why Reverend Smith is truly one of Chicago's very own.
Even now, I have kind of flashbacks.
It's been 60 years, but the memories of the Montgomery Bus Boycott are still very vivid for Reverend JC Smith.
That's you right there.
Mm-hmm.
There's Dr. King.
The Montgomery, Alabama native found himself in the middle of one of the pivotal events in the civil rights movement. Most have heard the story of Rosa Parks, the tired seamstress who refused to give up her seat on the bus to a white man one cold December night in 1955. She was arrested, and the boycott began. It brought public transportation to a halt, and a young J.C. Smith, who had a brand new car, felt the need to get involved.
I was fortunate at that time to have a car, and they suggested to us from our different churches, if you have transportation, then give somebody a ride.
He took that car and joined a carpool system, set up to take people to and from work, school, and anywhere they needed to go around that city.
That was thousands of people who did that, you know, and that's really what made the movement successful.
Smith was eventually arrested, caught while spinning his wheels on wet pavement. He spent one night in jail.
I felt comfortable because I knew I hadn't done anything. You know, if we went to court and went before the judge, they don't have no case.
That we, the Negro citizens of Montgomery, Alabama.
It was soon after that a young preacher from Atlanta, Georgia came to town. His name, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. He'd run weekly meetings at the Holt Street Church, the beginnings of what would turn into the civil rights movement.
You would just be carried away to listen to him speak, you know, and as a result of that, you know, people came every week. They came every week, and for a whole year, okay, and so it was impressive.
Racial tension continued to grow in Montgomery. Smith remembers how the Ku Klux Klan would target their peaceful gatherings. Memories crystal clear in the 84-year-old's mind.
We were shut up in church all night because Dr. King said, well, don't leave, no one leave, because the Ku Klux Klan had surrounded the church on the outside, you know, and it was dangerous. If you didn't see it, you wouldn't believe it.
In 1956, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the segregated seating laws on public buses. On December 20th, Dr. King called for an end to the bus boycott. The community agreed.
A large group of us came together in downtown in the city of Montgomery and boarded the buses. We sat as close to the front as we could get. It felt great. Felt great. I didn't know it felt so good sitting up there.
It was his experience from that era that led Reverend Smith to build Bethlehem Temple Church in South Suburban Harvey, a church where he's been preaching from the pulpit on and off for 50 years, helping others to achieve their dreams, something that has set quite an example for his huge family.
Had not he done what he has done, I wouldn't be able to have achieved or done some of the things that I've done. Some of those sacrifices that were made were, I think, very significant for me.
Reverend Smith's actions back in Montgomery may have seemed small, but in the scheme of history, they were huge.
It's important for that story to be told. I like to say there's a living legend still here with us.
Reverend JC Smith, Jr. He's one of Chicago's very own.
Reverend says he's seen improvements in race relations since the civil rights movement, but as he put it, there are still bumps in the road.
He says change happens when people come together, just like they did during the bus boycott. Coming up, another reason to visit Lincoln Park Zoo, the new baby gorilla making her debut, and when you can see her in